How do you build a nation? A Unified Man, Building a Nation from Within. That's a book by one Neal Fisher. And you're tuned to Now Tell Us podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Mwerore. At Now Tell Us, we have guests come and tell us stories. They come and inspire us. They come and educate us on a subject. And always we have a great time when our guests come. But we also have a better time when you participate in what it is that we are doing. So if you have a question as we are going on with this episode, please ask. If you have a comment to make on anything about our podcast, we really appreciate feedback. So we thank you in advance. And now I won't want to take one more minute because Neal has a lot to tell us. So why don't you join me as we go together to meet our guest today, Neal Fisher. Here we go. Hi, Neal.
Hey man, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Nice and fresh, man. It's an early morning, so good way to start the day. Great way to start the day.
Early morning. It's evening where I am.
Oh well, the sun's setting for you, the sun's rising for me.
Where is it? Where is it that you are at right now?
Australia, Gold Coast. It's 5:40 in the morning, so
4:40. You rise up this early?
yeah, I mean the sun's up, so I'm up.
Okay, so the sun.
Simple as that. You have to, otherwise I feel guilty if I don't do it. So
Okay, so what happens when the sun is not rising at 4 in the morning? Like I believe that when the seasons changes, yeah, I mean, it rises. It rises up later on in the day.
yeah, I mean, you got to get up whatever time you get up. I mean, back when I was a concreter, you'd be up at 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't matter, whatever you have to do, you have to do. So, but these days I sleep in a little bit, so I get up about 5.
It's interesting. And I'm always having guests from around the world, and it's always an interesting thing to hear different experiences with time, different experiences with culture, different experiences with just about anything. And so, welcome to Now Tell Us. We are happy to have you here and hear what you're going to tell us.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you whatever you want, whatever you ask me anything.
Okay, anything?
Just about anything.
When will the world end?
Sorry, well,
What?
the world when I die, that's when the world ends because my world ends.
Oh,
Same with
okay.
you. When we
Okay.
die, the world ends because it's the only real world is our world. So
Yeah, just joking. Let's come back to what is it that Neo does? What's
Neal
yeah.
Neal steps out of his comfort zone every single day. Like Neal explores. Neal's always looking for growth. Yeah, that's what I do, and I try and inspire people and help people do the same things. It's like comfort. When you get too comfortable and you stay in a pattern, you get uncomfortable because we all have an internal compass, and that the needle on that compass is fear. And whatever we're most afraid of doing, like that's what we should be doing. And I wake up every day uncomfortable and nervous because I'm in a new town, in a new city, trying to start a new life. And every day I have to do things that are outside of my comfort zone. So, it's scary, and you probably won't like it. It's not like it won't be romanticized like it is in a movie and all action packed and all that. It'll actually be discomfortable, but when you just sort of step through that, you feel good about yourself. That's where pride and self-worth is, when you do things that in your heart you should be doing. So that's what I try to do. and help other people do the same thing.
Wow, that's good. And when you mentioned that you in a new city, new place, is it? Uh, I mean, is it an idiom or is it something in reality that that's not where you're always in Australia?
Um, Sorry, what do you mean?
I mean, are you speaking it in reality or as
Yeah,
a
yeah, right here, right now. Yeah, like this is me. This is my life. Like I grew up in a small town, and then I left there
where?
just recently, and
Where
it's just
in
North
Australia?
Queensland, North Queensland, Mission Beach,
Okay.
and then now I'm in a big city, and it's probably like the best city in Australia. Best climate, sort of best atmosphere, and I just that's my life now. You know what I mean? Like I'm living what I talk about in my book. You know, and it all looks easy when you're reading it, but then when you actually have to live it, yeah, it's not as fun as it seems, but it's satisfying and fulfilling. And as long as you sort of step through that fear boundary every day, you can go to sleep at night satisfied with yourself, and then you wake up in the morning, and then the cycle starts again. You have to do something that you're afraid to do every day, and if you do that, you'll always feel good about yourself. You'll feel pride.
Hmm. Now you mentioned your book. I came across it is known as a unified man building a nation from within, of course by Neil Fisher. Uh, is this your first book? Is this your only book? Or tell us about your writing.
Yeah, well, the book it wrote itself. I didn't even mean to write it. It was an accident. I just meant to write a short, concise, like five page, 10-page document, just as like a system I can hand to people, like my friends or whatever, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
then I just started writing it, and it just wrote itself, you know. As funny as that sounds, it just all flowed through. It was something within, something in my heart, something in my consciousness that just needed to come out. And it's just a concise system, and just all the ideas and the actions that people can use to just sort of get themselves grounded in reality and actually move forward. Like I wrote that book for an 18-year-old version of me. You know, if I read that, I could have saved myself a hell of a lot of time. If 22-year-old me read that, I could have saved a hell of a lot of time. So it's just a concise system of elevation, really, and getting your life sorted.
No, that's a good accident. That's
Oh,
a,
thankfully,
a good
I don't
accident.
really have too many good accidents.
Yeah. What triggered it? What triggered you to just to get started writing? It was not meant to be a book, but what started your writing? What triggered?
Again, like it was just a sort of a system or something I was looking for to like sort of just to help people, you know,
Mhm.
help because I wanted to go out there and help people. I thought the best way I could do it is here's a system, you know, here's a knowledge base that you can work around. Um, Simple. And just myself, I wanted to document what I do to really sort of get my mind clear and get my ideas clear. Um, so I quit my job and started writing it, and that's sort of what just happened. You know, I didn't really exactly plan to do it. It just, like I said, it was something within. It just needed to come out, and it came out.
It was within, and talking about building a nation from within. Before we proceed, let me say thank you to each and every person who is tuned in right now. We really appreciate you. Mishka, hello, how are you? We see you're joining us from around. I haven't seen that city before. I
Yeah, I wouldn't know, man. I haven't. I've
haven't,
gone everywhere. I've gone everywhere in my mind, but I
yeah,
haven't gone too
but I
very. I
haven't.
haven't gone very far on the planet.
Yeah, you're going to teach us how to pronounce that someday. Uh, Mishka, thank you for coming, Mishka. And all the others who could be watching, if you can tell us where you're watching us from, we really appreciate. And your comments are welcome. So, we are talking about a unified man building a nation from within by uh, Neil Fisher. Now, maybe you would be, I know you're a kind person, and I'm looking forward to go deeper into the book even before I get it. So, can you maybe uh, drive us into what it is all about? Give us a few ideas of what it is that we could expect?
Yeah, easy. And for clarity for the audience, it's called A Unified Man because it's written by a man to a younger version of himself as a man.
Mm-hmm.
It's for women as well. I mean, it's for everybody. It's for young people, old people, men, women, anybody who's looking to basically take control of their life. I called it A Unified Man because it just sounds cool. It's just what came to me. If I called it A Unified Person, it just doesn't sound tough, you know. So for all the females, it's for you as well. It's just written in the context of a man. And a unified man is getting rid of all of your weaknesses by acknowledging your weaknesses. I had heaps of weaknesses, you know, drinking, smoking, fast food, um, doubt, avoiding the work that I should have been doing. You know, whatever it is for you. It could be addiction to online shopping. You could be a drug addict. You could be a food addicted to food. Whatever you're addicted to, whatever external that has control over you, that's um, that's a weakness. So it's about understanding when you get rid of all those weaknesses, all you're left with is facing yourself. You're facing the the pain of fear that's within your heart. Like I said, everybody has an encompass, and the needle is fear. What you're most afraid to do, that's what you need to do. So it's about getting rid of those weaknesses. So you have to sit and understand and feel and ask yourself and know, like, what is it I truly want? Where do I want to get to? And then it's about unifying your mind, your body, your actions. So everything's aligned and going in the same sort of direction.
Wow. Oh, someone says wow with me. Someone known as Mishka is saying wow, and she's driving us back to something that you mentioned before. You
Yeah, yeah.
quit your job to go with your passion.
Yeah, I just had to because I wasn't happy. You know, I really wasn't happy. I was just like, you know, totally depressed, borderline, just, you know, didn't want to be in this world anymore because I'd been doing what I had to do for so long because of my decisions I'd made in my early 20s. It got me into a mountain of debt. So I had to submit to an occupation of hard labor because I could make decent money doing it. So I could pay off all this money that I'd borrowed. So it served its purpose and it taught me a lot of character because I had to work with real men from the old world, like solid men that didn't have all this artificial digital social media, this whole web of connection. They didn't have any of that. So they were just grounded right here, right now. They were always present, you know? So it had the beneficial, another accident, a beneficial side effect of learning all these strong character traits and bonding with real men that have to rely on each other. So that was powerful. But then it reached a point where, again, listen to the heart. I knew I had to change. I had to get away from that. And yeah, sure, it was scary and liberating. Like we think about these sorts of things in our minds, and it seems like an adventure, and it's going to be romantic, and all these wondrous things are going to happen. But when you actually take the steps to let go of your old life, you're stuck in a limbo. You're stuck in a no man's zone, a void between your old life and your new life, and it's uncomfortable and it's scary because you don't know. And when you've got uncertainty, you it's hard to grasp who you truly are and what you truly are. It's very fluid, and that's what I'm going through again right now. It's a never ending process. It's like I should have probably called the book not a unified man, a unifying man, because as soon as you think you've got it all together, then it's just the evolution of things. There's always more that you have to bring, more course corrections. It's a never ending process.
Our viewers are really encouraged by your vulnerability. That's a comment that comes from Mishka. She says, thank you because you're helping a lot of people, including her. Now, the question, and I'm going to stick on that area for a little longer.
Sure.
The question is, you've made this decision to leave your job. You're going into writing. It's scary. It's a fear zone that you're moving into, and this is something that you're encouraging someone to move into right now. Of course, you had an idea, you had a plan, you had a big dream. What was your big dream that makes you take that big leap?
Well, you just know it's like when the pain gets unbearable within. When you ignore your dream, when you ignore your work, like it's just basically you can't handle the pain and the dissatisfaction with yourself any longer. It's like when you are aligned and you do know yourself and you know that you should be doing more. And I mean, most people pretty much do this, and that's why I say when you get rid of all the weaknesses, all the masks that numb that pain, you have to sit with it, and then you're forced to face it. And that's what I did because I stopped drinking, stopped smoking, stopped eating bad food, and I was left to face myself. And like I had saved up a lot of money, so I had a buffer. What I'd say to people is like, and even now I still have another source of income. I wouldn't sure, jump right into it if you've got the money saved up. But if you can sort of keep doing something part time, which is what I did as well, I might have quit my job, but I was still working like sort of casually here and there in the same industry. So I still had some money coming in. Otherwise, you just get to your panic zone. There's like the comfort zone, then there's the stepping out of your comfort zone, but you step too far and you just reach panic zone. And there's people that did that and
Hmm.
they succeeded. But I mean, for you and me, it's like life's hard enough as it is. Try and make it a bit easier on yourself. So
Wow,
I
now
mean,
that makes
take
now that
take the
makes
leap,
sense.
take the leap. But if you can still have an income and
Yeah,
get more time, sure, like do it.
that makes a lot of sense. So when you want to take that leap, you don't just take a leap blindly. You may be having some big dreams. You may be having an idea, a plan that seems it's definitely going to work, but then you just don't do something blindly because you have a dream, you have a vision, you have faith. Now you've got to have a plan.
Yeah, you gotta have something like sure, do it. People can pull it off, but it's not the wisest decision. It might backfire on you. And I
Mm,
was able to do it because I had a buffer. So take
yeah,
that into consideration, people.
yeah, that's good. That's good. So we are living in a period, in a session where things are happening, bad things are happening around. And we are bound to blame the government. We are bound to blame the institutions that are surviving in the present day. We are bound to blame the internet and with all the negative things that is bringing onto us. And we are talking about building a nation from within. Now, you've talked about doing away with the weaknesses, with the bad habits. How do you build now because that was like I can term that as the foundation. When you're building a house, you first dig out all the I mean before you start building. So how do we build now, because that's the preparation, I guess.
Yeah, it goes like this. People make inaccurate analogies with the human brain and body and life. They say the body's like a car. You got to put good fuel in it and it will run well. The body is like a computer. You got to have good hardware and good software. I mean, these are inaccurate. They're not real. And that's what came to me is that they don't say enough about the power of the human body and what it truly is. The human body and a single human life is taking the macrocosm and bringing it down to the microcosm. Your life, your body is actually like a nation, a government, a structure, a country, because every organization, every group of people, every tribe, every military unit, every business, it's all a reflection of the systems of a single human being. Your consciousness, your actual experiential seat of consciousness in the center of your skull, that is like the ruler. That's the incumbent. That's the leader. Everything trickles down from this disposition, trickles down from this leadership. You got to have that self awareness to remove yourself from your thoughts, from your mind, which sits in the front of your brain. And your mind is like the government. It's like the keys to power. It's the web of influence. It's the network. We've all got all these voices and thoughts and directions going everywhere, it can tear us apart. And that's why it's about becoming unified. It's sort of bringing all these voices and all these thoughts and attention into alignment with where the leader, the consciousness, wants to go. And it's still going to be yelling and talking and making all this noise in there, but it all yelling and talking and making noise in the same direction. So the council's on board with what you want to do. So then you can actually dictate your thoughts and not be attached to ones that don't serve you. Easy to say, hard to do. Finally is the body. The body is the territory of the nation. It's all the structures. It's the population. It's the infrastructure. It's the military, people that do martial arts. Like that's becoming a one-man army, because you're able to defend and assert yourself, I mean. So, you got to feed your population. They got to be healthy. They got to be happy. You need recreation, whether that's whatever it is that brings you fulfillment and pleasure and relaxation. There's work and then there's rest. And so in a nutshell, it's basically taking full dominion, full command and control, full leadership over your internal territory. And that's why I called it building a nation from within.
Oh, okay. So it's not it's not focusing on the nation that we know of many, but so it's an analogy of that
Yeah,
you.
it's a way to structure your mind so you can feel powerful in everything that you do, because here's the most important part is that you can't own anything in this world, nothing, because the earth owns us. The only thing we can truly possess is our body and our physical presence. That's it. It doesn't mean don't strive for external wealth or influence or whatever it is that you're after, because we're all after the same things anyway. It just means put all the effort required into this, because ultimately at the end of the day, you can lose everything. You can lose all your money. You can lose your status. You can lose your family. You can lose everything, but all that remains, you can never lose your body and your presence. So that's why it's most important to start there, because everything in life radiates from that point of existence.
That's clear, and we thank you for making it known to us that we are building a nation. I'll go a bit back, and this is where you talked about doing away with our weaknesses, and you mentioned a few things there: some habits, some indulgences like smoking, drinking. I've gotten a chance to have met with people. I haven't been a drinker myself. I haven't smoked myself, but
Good.
I have come across people who are smoking, who have been drinking, and they've come to a point where they say, "I've got to stop this habit," but then they say, "I can't. No matter how
Yeah.
hard I try, I can't." How easy was it for you? And
Well, because
or how
I knew.
or how
Well,
hard?
I'd seen around me, because I knew that people I'd see what it does to people. The timeline of any habit is inevitable. I mean, if you look at where you are now, just look at other people that are further along the timeline that do what you do, and that'll give you the result there. And it's like you will become that person. Doesn't matter what you think, it's all about what you do. So for me, I already had the conviction within that I wanted to stop this, because I know how good it felt. Like even if I didn't drink or smoke for a few days, I just feel amazing. And it's a matter of matter over mind. The easiest way to affect your mind and your attitude is to affect your body. When I'd eat healthy, when you reach the sublime by subtraction. The things that you subtract and take away out of your life, that's what gives you the power. The strength you want is on the other side of the things that you don't need. So for me, yeah, sure, it was still tempting, but I just removed myself from situations where I would be tempted. Like the easiest way to have self-control is to avoid situations that require it.
Mm.
So I'd made the decision and it just got boring. It didn't work. Like I said, the pain within, the internal pain, like we all know what we should be doing, what we want to be doing. and the pain just I couldn't handle it anymore. So I had to just, the pain, it didn't work. It didn't mask anymore. So it wasn't actually that hard because, again, I had something else to go into. So once you know how good it feels to get rid of all that crap, you can't turn back.
Wow. Now I'm thinking, and my viewers are also in this position where they are maybe wondering about themselves. What pain is there within me that I am thinking I shouldn't be living in this place? I shouldn't be doing this. But then it has not come to that point where you have declared and decided that it's either that coming out of it or nothing more.
Yeah, well, sooner or later it'll backfire on you anyway. It's like you'll start making mistakes. Things will happen. Like if you just keep burying that pain, sooner or later down the track, it'll catch up to you. We can't escape it.
Mm.
So and life will just continue to be harder and more uncomfortable than what it needs to be until you face that. And the beauty is when you get rid of all of these problems, then you can actually go on to the real tests of life, because it's like I have a drinking problem, I have a gambling problem, whatever it might be. Like get rid of those problems, because that's just the baseline, just trying to get back to how a normal human being should be. It's like look at a child. When a child is born, it's pure, it's generally happy, it's generally healthy. Generally, I mean, it's different these days because we live in a polluted world, but in the raw essence of reality, a child is pure. They're sharing, they're caring, um, they have good character traits, they're positive, they're playful, they're fun. It's just the civilization corrupts us and destroys us from the inside out. And when you get rid of all these weaknesses, you sort of automatically get back to that normal baseline of a human being. You don't have to try to feel positive. You don't have to try to have a good attitude. You just naturally have a good attitude because your self-talk aligns with that. If you're stuffing up and doing the wrong things, your brain's going to tell you negative things about yourself because it's accurate. You are lacking in life. You are being less than what you are, and it's going to give you a real hard time about it. But when you actually just doing the little things every day, it's accurate. You feel pride, you feel happy, you feel positive automatically. And that's why I say get rid of your weaknesses and your strengths will just flourish automatically, because that's all you're left with.
Oh, thank you for sharing everything that you've shared with us. It's a great thing that you've done today, as you've come to talk about a unified man building a nation from within. Now, for our guests who are here, we appreciate you once again, and we would like you to sum it up. Sum it up about the unified man, this unified man that we are talking about, and building a nation from within.
Well, it's a never-ending process. It's like this. We're all unique shards of the universal animating force. Life is not a matter of belief, it's a matter of awareness. It doesn't matter what you believe, you have to be aware that there's a greater power, a greater force, something that we all came from. Who knows exactly what it is? Who knows? No one was there when it happened. But it's true. The force is real, and we're a part of that. Within all of us, there is a higher, deeper, truer, stronger, ideal entity within us. That's why there's the conscious and the subconscious. And I call it bridging that gap to yield the ultra conscious. And that's basically it's a continual, never ending process of just getting rid of all of our false beliefs, our false convictions, our negative habits, our distractions, our self-sabotage, getting rid of all of those things that get in our own way and allowing that deeper truth to flow through us, to animate through us. So it's basically about getting out of our own way. It's subtraction. Like my life physically isn't very much different to what it ever has been. It's just I keep shedding more layers of just falsehood and allowing that unborn entity within to come through, those natural strengths within us. Like I said, the child's born pure. It's
Mm-hmm.
about sort of getting back to that and allowing our unique gifts to just flow through us. And simple as that. Everybody has a better self. Everyone has a better self within, every single one of us. And the pain and the dissatisfaction we get with life is the gap between how we think we should be and how things actually are. The greater that gap, the more stress we experience. So just keep it real. Just be right here where your feet are, and just listen to your heart. As corny as it sounds, listen to the voice within. It's always telling you whether you're making the right decision or the wrong decision. We all know. We just ignore it.
Yeah. Embrace the good.
Embrace the good. It's a good world, like it's being bad isn't cool. The
Yeah.
bad guy, like in any, like for a superhero movie, for example, what's the difference between the superhero and the supervillain? Is their character. They both have massive power. They can both change the world because they're both powerful. What separates them is their character. The superhero does struggle because he is trying to be his best version of himself. He goes through an internal odyssey. He goes through a growth and realization. Whereas the villain, he's just a sad, miserable prick. He's just a bastard. He's just someone who's never faced their demons. He's nasty because he doesn't like himself.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. There's nothing wrong with being powerful. We're supposed to be powerful. We're supposed to have impact. It's just that character development and maturity that comes with it. That's where it's at.
Yeah. Exactly. So we are reminded to just look for that good person within and bring him out. Or or her out. You bring her out.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So this book that you've written and published, is it already out, or where can people get it?
Yeah, well, they can get it for free. Just hit me up on Instagram or the website. Just send me a message, send me your email, and I'll just give it to you as a PDF. I saw the publisher this week, so there'll actually be a physical copy that people can be able to purchase within the next week. And same thing, that's just free. It's just you pay the shipping, and you get the book for free. And then same thing, I just got to record the audio book, so people that like to listen. It's all just free. It's all free. Or like I said, with the physical copy, it's just a small price. But just hit me up on Instagram, the.unified.man, or just go to my website, theunifiedman.com.au, and send me a message, and it's all yours.
Wow. Thank you for that. We really appreciate you for taking your time in writing it and passing this wonderful message. And I believe that some people are going to be hopping onto that website, theunifiedman.com.au, to go and secure a copy of A Unified Man. Yeah. So we are almost coming up to the end of this episode, and it's been wonderful having you on our show, Neal. We appreciate you.
Yeah, always a pleasure. I love it. Like today, I've got I think another 4 podcasts to do today. So a day like this is just a pleasure. I just get to talk about the things that matter. It's a great day.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. We thank you. Now, give us some parting shot. We call it a few words that we should always remember.
Just hit the basics, people. Hit the basics, because they're the hardest to master, because they're subtle and boring. And that's why nobody does it, because they are subtle and boring. Hit the basics. Get up early. Drink water. Eat healthy, just fruit, meat, and vegetables. Educate yourself, and do something that you should be doing. Like, we all have a work, like whether it is writing a book, whether it's starting a business, whether it's a piece of art, whether it could even just be a difficult conversation, or just going out and meeting new people because you're isolated. Whatever it is, there's something, these little tiny steps, these basic steps, that will just make such a huge difference and make you feel proud. And the other thing I'd say is, if you're struggling, just reach out to people. whether people reach out to me, whether they reach out to you, whether they reach out to family, friends, even just strangers. Like, it's unnatural to be isolated. That's when we try and do things alone. It can be so difficult because it's unnatural. We're supposed to be together. We're supposed to be in a team. We're supposed to be in a tribe. So if you're having a hard time, like, just grow up. Like, go and talk to someone about it. It's awesome. It helps. And by doing that, you'll just nobody has to be alone, you know. Nobody has to be alone in this world. That's why we have mouths, so we can talk. That's why we have flat feet, so we can go places. Reach out, connect. Simple.
Reach out and connect. And I have nothing to add to that. I just remind the viewer to please reach out to Neal Fisher and connect.
Yeah, whatever. And even if you just need a chat,
Yeah.
I'm here. That's my job. That's what I do.
Yeah, thank you very much, Neal. We really appreciate once again. And thank you, everyone who's been watching or listening, even those who get to listen or watch this after it's been recorded. We thank you for taking your time and, look for the positive within and bring it out. Let's continue to make this world a better place just because you're living it. Thank you.
That's it.
And until next time, it's bye for now.
Peace.